In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I create a branding guidelines and also what I like to include in this for my clients. Hey everyone, if you haven't been here before, my name is Megan. I have been a brand and web designer for about 9 years and I have been running my business full-time for about 4 years. And I am so passionate about talking about design and I love sitting down with you guys every week to share the things I've learned and the things I do in my business. And today I'm super excited to share with you guys how I create a brand guidelines. If you are completely new to design and you don't really know exactly what this is, it is basically the brand Bible. It is everything you need to know about your brand, from colors, from fonts, to logos, to mission statements, to strategy. Everything that you'll be using in your branding is included in a brand guideline packet. So my branding guidelines typically involves about 25 to 30 pages depending on all of the use cases and mock-ups I have for the brand, but it typically is around that range. And for me, I actually provide my clients 2 different types of brand guidelines. The first one is a 1-page brand guideline that they can quickly reference to see their logo, their colors, their fonts, and all of the color codes, because I know that a client might not want to open up the brand guideline packet every time they need a color code. So this is something new I started doing this year, is giving them that 1-pager and also having the packet that goes way more in depth. Now a brand guideline is super helpful because if your client or whoever you're designing for decides to hire people or share their branding with somebody else, maybe they're hiring and outsourcing someone to do their social media, they can then share their branding guidelines with those people so everything shows up cohesively. So I, as a graphic designer, actually created my own brand guidelines as well, because with hiring video editors and social media and so many other things, it was so helpful to have a place for me to have everything inside of there of how I like my fonts, my colors, my imagery, how I want to show up. Like, we need to be strategic about the brand, and this little Bible or this brand guidelines will be able to explain that to anybody who opens it. So that's what a branding guideline is, and I want to share with you guys how I put one together. So I'm going to head on over to my Adobe Illustrator, which is where I create my brand guidelines, and I'm going to share with you how I do this. But before we jump over to my screen, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you want to see a more in-depth video about how I create logos and how I work with clients and really creating these designs from scratch, then be sure to check out my Patreon. I post every single week in there. There's a new tutorial every week, which is so fun for me because I love sharing with you guys what I'm working on and how I think through designs. But I also love my Patreon because I've been able to connect with you guys in the Discord. So if you guys are interested in joining the Patreon, be sure to join as a circle member so you get access to the Discord. There's so many fun chats going on in there every day about client situations or success stories and just design inspiration, and even a channel to share all about our pets and cats and dogs and all of that. So I would love for you guys to join the Discord and the Patreon. The description has a coupon code for all of you guys, so be sure to check that out. But let's hop on over to my Adobe Illustrator so I can share with you guys how I design a brand guidelines. Okay, I just opened up my Adobe Illustrator, and this is perfect timing because I have a brand that I need to package up and send off to my client. So I want to share with you guys how I start the brand guidelines. Now, I actually sell a brand guideline template and I use this myself. I like to take that and save a copy inside of my client's folder. So I'm just going to quickly open this up in my Finder here. So as you can see over here, I have a brand guideline template. Now there's already designs inside of this template, so we're gonna have to replace those and replace it with the new branding. But what I typically do is I open this up in my Illustrator and I'm just gonna apply to all, ignore. And you'll see there is some branding going on in here, so we're gonna have to clean that up. I accidentally saved my design inside of the template, and that's exactly why I do this step, which is basically me going to File, Save a Copy, and I'm gonna open up my client's folder and save that copy in there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up that copy and we're gonna design off of that. So that's typically how I work off of my templates. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I think you can even make a template for your Illustrator, but this is typically how I do it, and it seems to work very well for what I need. Okay, so as we can see right in here, we have my brand guideline for this company. So I'm gonna open that up, and then we're just gonna wanna make sure that we close that previous one that I had open. Like I said, I'm sure there's better ways to do that, but this is what has been working for me. So that's typically how I open up and reuse templates. So now that we have this open, I'm also gonna wanna go and open my client's brand files, which I have a design file for her of all of the logos, so I'm gonna open that up. And I also have this template design for the brand strategy and for the logo presentations that I sent my client. So we're gonna take a lot of this and I'm gonna share with you guys how to quickly change all of the fonts and colors on the brand guideline template and how we'll replace all of that with this. Leo just always has to make an appearance when I'm filming. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy all of these colors and we're gonna go and place them in our brand guideline template. And then I'm also just gonna drag my mouse over everything and delete all of the designs that are on the sides since we don't need that. I really need to recreate my template so I don't have to do this every time, but you know, I keep putting that off, so we're gonna have to delete this together here. And then I'm gonna grab the artboard tool. I'm just gonna delete all of these squares as well. Did not take too long, so there we go. But I'm gonna grab all of these colors. I'm gonna go to swatches and let me put on my glasses because I do need these. And we're gonna just add, it looks like we might have some in here already, but I'm just gonna add this and we're gonna name it by my client's brand name. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go and zoom in here. First, before I change all of the colors and fonts, I'm gonna go over here to the logo presentation. But before we change everything, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna copy over this font since that's the font we wanna use on everything. Let me just paste this in here and I'm gonna ungroup it to make it easy for us to change all the fonts. So once we have that done, I'm gonna select this title here. We're gonna go to the top and we're gonna say select same font, family, style, and size so that we can easily update this across the whole presentation. So as you can see, it selected all of the titles. So once we have that selected, I'm gonna grab the eyedropper tool and I'm just gonna select this here. And there we go. So we can do that for all of the fonts throughout the whole presentation so it doesn't take us hours and hours just to change the font and colors. Okay, so let's do the same exact thing for the body font. Select same font, family, style, and size, eyedropper it, and there we go. So I'm just gonna adjust the alignment here. I don't want that justified, just want these centered. So what we could do is I could even select all of that again and not worry about and basically change the justification for everything. But some of them aren't centered, some of them are left aligned like this, and we'll fix the table of contents there. I'm gonna just delete this logo here, and now you can see that some of these will need to be capitalized. So I could go to select same font, family, style, and size, but it's gonna select all of the paragraph fonts. So we'll just manually go through that. That's not a huge deal for me. And I'm just gonna delete all of this content in here that we don't really need because we'll just easily be able to go to our presentation here and just copy and paste these in. So I'm just gonna go Command C. And that's why I go through the process of my branding of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, because I'm already technically creating the brand guidelines. Like I already have my presentation like 80% done. The brand guidelines is just adding in more of the directions of how to use the logos, how to use the colors and color codes and all of that. But I pretty much have a lot of my presentation already ready to go. So I'm just gonna go Command C and I'm gonna delete this here. And we'll paste it here. Now we might just have to replace this image here. It looks like it wasn't linked properly, which is a very bad habit of mine, but we'll be able to change that easily. And then let's go back over here and copy over the mission statement and the tagline. And I actually have a separate page for the tagline. I'm gonna delete that and we're just gonna go and paste it down here. So my brand guidelines used to take me a while to put together because I didn't really have a process for my branding. But now that I have a process and that I already have the presentation somewhat built out by the time I get to this stage, things have just been so much smoother. And I'm actually gonna increase the size on this so that it looks a little bit different than the title. And we'll just align it center. Perfect, and just the same exact thing for all of the other pages. We're gonna copy and paste from our previous presentation that I put together. Now the biggest difference with my brand guidelines versus my brand strategy template is that I have all of these, all the information they need to know about their primary logo, secondary logo, and submark logo. So I have some descriptions in here, but I have descriptions of what each one should be used for. And then I also have some tips on how to work through the spacing of the logos. So adding a little X around things to make sure that things aren't right up against the edge. That's like the biggest giveaway from a designer versus a non-designer, is when the spacing is not perfect. So that is another huge thing I like to teach about. And I also include some mock-ups here. This is more, my template here is a simpler brand guidelines. I do typically include a page about the brand illustration. So let me go to an example one I have open here that I just sent off yesterday. But as you can see, this page goes over the brand icons and what those look like. I also usually have a page that goes over the color combinations and what colors work well together and what colors to kind of avoid overlapping or having on top of each other. And I also like to include some mock-ups of how to use the branding and what the fonts look like in use. So this is a good example of one that I just sent over, as well as the mood board and how we like to reference all of that throughout the brand process. So I got a comment on my Patreon the other day about the square on the background. That just allows me to export everything with the same background color. Typically, I will actually go into my layers and lock that just so I don't have to worry about it getting dragged around or anything, but it just keeps things pretty easy for me. And then when I export the brand guideline, I do like to link this in my Adobe Acrobat to a Google Drive. So I wanted to share with you guys how I send over the brand files. So let me just quickly open this up. This is one that I just sent off yesterday. So we have folders for our primary logos, secondary logos, and submark logos. And inside of these, I typically include all of the colors, but I also include the SVG files of each one, because if they wanted to add that into their Canva or anything like that, they'd be able to change the colors that way. So I do that, and I also do provide an EPS file of all of their final logos so that if they want to use that, they can have that for the future. And then of course I include all of the brand icons and any collateral like business card design. So this is an example of one that I'm currently working on that I just sent over to my client. I use Google Drive, it works the best for me, and it has worked really well for my clients too. I've had no issues with that, so I typically like to stick with it. But yeah, once my brand guidelines is exported, and if you're curious on my export settings, I typically go to File, Export for Screens, select all of the pages in here, select PDF, and inside of my PDF settings, I have it as press quality. You could do high quality print, but press quality allows me to email this over to my clients without it being too big of a file size. And then I always select single file and I put it in the right folder inside of my Finder to make sure that it's exporting into my client's folder and I don't get that confused. And then once that's all exported, it looks like this inside of my Google Drive here. And like I said, I link that very final button just in case they ever need to get back to the Google Drive. But when I send this brand guideline to my client, I like to let them know to download all of their files, because at the end of the year, I have to clean out my Google Drive because it does get full quickly when I'm using it. So I always like to remind my clients, be sure to download everything to your computer. That way, when I go to delete things on Google Drive, they still have everything. But as you can see, this is clickable, so they can go and open up their Google Drive. So that's typically how I do it. It seems to work really well. But yeah, the most important things for my branding guidelines is to make sure they know how to use the colors and where to use the colors, that they know their fonts for headlines and heading fonts and paragraph fonts, and that they know how to use their brand. Like when they go to use it on social media, are they going to know how to do that? And that's also why I typically create some social media graphics for them, because I do find that that tends to be a question that a lot of clients have, or like when they really want to see it in use. I like to give them a little head start on that as well, so kind of similar to these. But yeah, I had so much fun on this brand project. I'm excited to share more about it with you guys, but I hope it helps to kind of see how I put together my brand guidelines. I think it'd be a very long video if I showed you the whole process, but like I said, Patreon shows a lot of this, so if you're interested in seeing that, be sure to check that out. But this is typically what my branding guidelines look like and how I put it together. So I hope that helps to see how I put together my brand guidelines and what that looks like. Like I mentioned before, if you guys are interested in seeing how I go through the entire branding process with my clients and showing more of the in-depth videos of me actually creating the logos and putting it together, then be sure to check out my Patreon, because I share a lot of that inside of there, and I get to connect with all of you guys and get to know you, because that's like my favorite part about it. and I'd love for you guys to join as a circle member so you can get access to the Discord, chat away with us in there, and you guys can use that discount code in the description box. But let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and give it a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. And I would love it so much if you guys subscribe and stick around for more videos. But thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in my next one.